Welcome back. So you came to us asking about Azerbaijan, specifically the weather risks for September 11th through the 20th, 2025. And for that immediate 10-day window, the forecast for Baku looks, well, actually quite mild. We're talking maybe some isolated thunderstorms, high winds early on, say the 11th or the 13th, gusts up to maybe 34 miles per hour, but then mostly sunny, stable conditions, temps mid-70s to low 80s Fahrenheit. So no heat wave risk for that specific period. That's a short view. But okay, as we started digging into your sources, it became really clear this forecast is, well, just a tiny snapshot. The real story, the serious warnings for Azerbaijan, they're much bigger long-term, driven by climate change, and frankly, they're pretty stark.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's really striking, the most critical, most visible sign of this whole crisis is the Caspian Sea. It's declining at this rapid, really unprecedented rate.
How rapid are we talking?
Well, the water level has dropped 2 meters just since 2006. It's now at its lowest recorded level, below minus 29 meters in the Baltic system. And the projections, they're quite alarming. We could see another 5 to 10 meters drop, even in optimistic scenarios.
Wow.
Potentially up to 21 meters by the end of the century. Imagine that. We're talking about potentially exposing 112,000 square kilometers of seabed. That's huge.
2 meters in less than 20 years for a sea that size. That's incredible. What's driving it so fast?
It really comes down to two main things, both linked to climate change. First, higher air temperatures over the whole basin mean much more evaporation. And second, critically, less water is flowing in from the Volga River. And you have to remember, the Volga supplies something like 80% of the Caspian's water.
80%. So if the Volga slows down...
Exactly. The consequences are, well, devastating. Major problems for ports like Baku, they reduce shipping, constant dredging just to keep things open. You've got this real risk of stranded assets for all the offshore oil and gas platforms.
Right. Infrastructure built for a different water level.
Precisely. And ecologically, it's a disaster looming. It threatens the endangered Caspian seal. Their population is already down over 90%. And the sturgeon, too, famous for caviar. We're genuinely risking ecocide here.
Ecocide, that's a powerful word. Really brings home the scale. Okay, so this crisis isn't just in the sea, is it? What about the rest of Azerbaijan, the broader climate shifts?
That's right. You have to connect it to the bigger picture. Azerbaijan's climate overall, it already warmed by about 1.3 degrees Celsius by 2010. And this warming trend is fundamentally destabilizing the entire water cycle.
Destabilize, so not just getting hotter or drier, but more chaotic.
Exactly that. You see intensifying heat waves, and Baku is especially vulnerable. You know, the urban heat island effect makes it worse.
Yeah.
And you have severe droughts. Water reserves are already down 20% over the last 30 years. Projections suggest another 15-20% drop by 2050.
Okay, so hotter, drier.
But, and here's the paradox, you also get extreme floods. Remember, April 2025, some areas got 3 months worth of rain in a single day. Caused flash floods in, I think it was, 17 different rivers. It's a system completely thrown out of balance.
Heat, drought, and floods. It sounds incredibly complex and urgent. Yet we know Azerbaijan is making these big public commitments on climate, right? Hosting COP29 this year, aiming for 30% renewables by 2030.
Right, and this raises a really critical point, maybe a contradiction. These green initiatives, which look good on paper, they're happening alongside plans to actually increase fossil gas production by a third by 2033.
Wait, increase gas production while hosting COP29?
It appears that way. The analysis suggests the push for renewables might be more about freeing up that natural gas for export, rather than driving a fundamental shift away from fossil fuels domestically.
So the green targets might not actually lead to lower overall emissions for the country itself?
That's the concern. External groups have rated Azerbaijan's overall climate action as critically insufficient, because despite the renewable targets, their total greenhouse gas emissions, they're still projected to rise.
That is a stark contradiction.
It really is. It undermines the effectiveness of their whole climate strategy.
So, looking back at everything we've discussed, this deep dive really shows that the challenge for Azerbaijan isn't just about a 10-day forecast, is it? It's about the long-term viability of the nation, facing these interconnected climate crises. It highlights this urgent need for, well, a genuine energy transition, strong adaptation plans, and crucially, cooperation across the region. And maybe the final thought for you, our listener, is this. The Caspian Sea's crisis, this threat of it becoming another Aral Sea disaster, it's a stark reminder. Even the largest inland seas aren't immune to human impact. So what does that tell us about the future of other vital ecosystems worldwide? And maybe more importantly, what responsibility does that place on all of us? Something to think about.